welcome to Party Select, where two dudes and a guy who's their friend talk about the best thing there is, video games. My name is Shay. I am your host for today's episode of Game Select. I am joined by Cody, who is my co-host.
The Cody host?
The Cody co-host.
Like
Not
that.
Cody Co. That's another YouTuber.
That's a different.
He's a
Yeah.
douchebag,
really?
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy, but I've seen that he's a douchebag. There's
Okay.
YouTube drama around him.
Don't associate.
But
with him.
Kyle's also here. What I was trying to set up is Cody's co-hosting. Kyle's on the keys.
Oh,
He's manning the sticks today. He's the gamer. Yeah.
We need like I guess we have an intro song. I was about to say we need a jingle. Like we pay a company to be able to use their music.
We pay a company for them to flag every single episode we upload,
Yes,
and then
they
we have
sure
to tell them, "Hey, remember we paid for this?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, our bad."
Yeah. We pay a lot of money to then have to dispute claims after the videos get posted.
That's fine.
Whatever.
No big deal. Our content's not monetized yet.
Nope.
But yeah, today we're doing our Game Select, which is a game all three of us have been playing, sinking our teeth into. And this month we are focused on Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. I wanted to say remake, but that's not what it is. It's reimagined.
Yeah.
Was this game reimagined? An existential question.
I think
so?
so.
Hard to
guess
hard to
in
give a
fairness,
concrete answer without
yeah.
having played the original.
Yeah, none of us
Haven't
played the
original. It comes across like maybe reimagine is an oversell. I feel like they did add some quality of life improvements from the original, obviously updated visuals, but reimagined is a high bar, I would say. But what we're gonna do, Kyle's got the game pulled up, so we're gonna kind of hang out as he plays and just talk about our, opinions and the time that we've put into the game. Kyle, or I guess Cody has finished this game. Mm-hmm. He is one trophy away from the platinum trophy.
I'll never get it.
Yeah, I would say playing the whole game is not necessarily indicative of your enjoyment of the game. It's just a thing that you happened to do.
Correct.
Kyle is farther than I got. You can see level 20-ish.
21. Yeah.
21-ish.
19, 20, and 21 is my party.
I got to like level 11. I beat the first 2 worlds of many. There are like probably 12 to 15 worlds if I had to guess. Cody, I guess you're the best gauge of that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Just going from the little tablets that you see. Yeah. But yeah, this is, I don't know, a third of the way through the game-ish, Kyle?
No.
Maybe? No, you don't think
it's
so?
like a fifth or sixth of the way through.
This is like a 50 way through the game-ish
hour.
Oh, it's longer than... So maybe after like a quarter to like 2/3 of the way through, I started skipping all the dialogue. I skipped every single cutscene and dialogue, and by the time I finished doing that, I was at like 50 hours having beat. So like if you're going through everything, I would say it's probably closer to 70 or 80 hours.
You were going for the plat,
that's fairly
right?
long.
Or was that just to beat the game?
No, that was just to beat. I had beaten the game at around 50 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's a long time.
You guys like breaking pots in video games?
I do like the pot breaking in this. Yeah, I think that does feel all right.
It's satisfying.
Like the slow one pot at a time, one barrel at a time.
So
there's a lot of pots and barrels. I think it's a little slow.
There are dedicated items per barrel, and once you get that item, there'll never be anything in there again. So once you get the item, like the items of an area, you don't need to continue to break them over and over again.
Right. Sorry,
Which
not to
I
distract with
understand
barrels,
because you shouldn't be able to like farm items by breaking barrels. However, I want to break barrels and pots because it's fun to do. So give me a piece of gold for every pot I break or something. Like incentivize me to break your pots.
Yeah.
Give me a trophy for breaking 1,000 pots.
That would be huge.
Look, there's 6 right there.
Yeah, but I mean, kind of as we're going, maybe a good place to start, and maybe viewers have caught on to this perhaps a little bit already, but overall vibe check. How did you guys feel about your time with Dragon Quest VII?
Who wants to go first? Oh!
I didn't know this was here. Sorry. I didn't know that was there.
Remember before we started recording, Kyle was like, "Hey, if I get like too involved in actual gameplay, check me on that." And we were like, "Yeah, sure, dude, we got you." Hey, Kyle, we're like 3 minutes in, and it's happening.
Yeah. So general vibe check. So this is where I stopped playing the game, like well over a week and a half or so ago now. Right. I do not intend to go back to it. I'm just in this to do our game select and talk about it. Vibes are pretty low. I think there are several things I really, really like about it. I think as a video game, it's a bit of a bummer. We'll get into that. But Cody, what about you?
I think this is the most okay game.
Frictionless.
Yeah. It's hard to say anything. Look, I have my own problems with the game, which we can really get into here in a bit. And maybe maybe it's not necessarily the fault of this specific game, and maybe it's a problem with Dragon Quest as a whole. But I don't think there's anything incredibly strongly negative or positive about it. It is so middle of the road. I had sent this in our group chat, but I think, again, a different conversation, but review rating scales are just totally out of whack, and people give like fine games like a 7 or an 8 usually, which is ridiculous. I mean, we have a whole scale of numbers to use. And based on a true 1 to 10 scale, this is like a perfect 5 for me. Like, it is just fine. So yeah, that's sort of where my vibe is with Dragon Quest VII.
I found myself early on being very excited about this game because I have never played a Dragon Quest game, and immediately it like transported me back in time to the 90s, early 2000s, like as a kid playing JRPGs, and the sense of like wonderment and just nostalgia that I felt was like excellent. And after just a few hours in the game, you immediately start to like barely be playing the game. And that's where it really lost me, when I stopped really kind of needing to play it. So yeah, I don't know. What's a good place to start? Maybe Kyle, if you want to hop into a dungeon, and we could start with some of the combat stuff. I feel like that's the biggest issue that would hold back the game, in my opinion, is the combat stuff.
Sure. And yeah, while we're on the way there, we could talk about like maybe a positive is the way the game looks. I really like the diorama. I like the character designs. I like visually.
Dragon Quest.
I was really happy with it.
Quite a bit is their look.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a very different version of that look than we've seen before, and I really like it. Like that really high fidelity version. So this is, I went into the shrine thing, and I went back in time, or to another time, I should say. I don't know if they're always in the past, but to another area, and now there's actually enemies here, because where I was before was like present day. Most of the enemy, like the land is more peaceful. This is back when there's some fighting to do. So the enemies do like roam around the map, which I like. It's not a random encounter. I think that I like seeing the enemies bouncing around. I like kind of knowing what kind of a battle I'm going to get into ahead of time.
Choosing your own battles.
Yeah, it is a little different, because a lot of times there'll be like complex makeups of enemies where
and that's
not always indicative
yeah,
what you're going to be fighting.
Yep.
Totally.
Which is fine.
I think the overworld version, whatever is in the overworld, will be in the fight.
Yes.
But other stuff could be there too.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But to speak on your point about combat, though, Shay, is yes, this game does have auto battling. So there is like a high level auto battling that you just turned on, but also like Dragon Quest combat just has auto battling baked into, like that is sort of the core of Dragon Quest combat. Is you sort of choose the what is it, tactics? Is it tactics for the different characters?
Yes.
Like you have like fight wisely, you like go all out, like focus on healing, and like they'll or the last one is follow orders. So like I believe that tactic system is in all of the games. I believe. I've not played a bunch of them, but I do think that is a core like feature of Dragon Quest. Now the problem with that is there's no reason not to do it.
Right.
There's nothing.
It's just it's a button press away.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
the biggest issue.
And like they're oftentimes smarter than I would be if I was manually controlling them. Like they know how they know internally how much health the enemy has, so you're not going to use a bigger spell when a smaller one would do.
Yeah.
So I mean, why wouldn't I ever always just use auto battling? And that's the frustrating thing.
That is like another big criticism that I have, which again, it might be core to the Dragon Quest experience, but in thinking of how to modernize a game like this and attract a new audience, the enemies not having any sort of health bar and there being no like move order are just huge misses, in my opinion. Like, and again, I understand that wasn't there in the original game, and they're trying to find the right balance between what's new. But yeah, exactly. If you're gonna reimagine this game to bring in a new audience, I just expect that stuff. And like, in order to be able to properly strategize, I want to know what order the moves are gonna go, and I want to know if the enemy still has 80 HP or 8 HP left.
But the thing is,
and it's just
there's
like
no strategy needed. It's so frictionless.
Yeah, and like there are.
But if
once I finish this battle, I'll show off like some of like the difficulty setting stuff. Like you can make the game more difficult. I don't know that would make it more fun though, because it's lacking. Like you said, Shay, it's lacking some like. There's information that I'm missing to like make informed decisions about combat. That you would just have to learn by like trial and error. Like. They don't surface the type weakness stuff or anything like that. Like surfacing that kind of information, like you said, turn order, health, like whether something would be super effective against an enemy or not. That information
doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me. I like the throwback where like you need to remember this enemy is weak to this type of magic or this type of attack. That I don't have a problem with. But like the structural components that don't like. I relate it to Pokemon, right? Where back in the day, you needed to remember that water was weak to electric, or that fire was super effective against grass. In the modern Pokemon games, you don't. It just says super effective right under the move. That's taking it a step too far in dumbing down the content for gamers. Like, it's okay to remember type matchups. That I would support. But it's the other stuff of, like, to your point, Cody, giving me the information to have any sort of strategy. There's no, you can't have a strategy with this because you don't know when guy is gonna move. You don't know how much health the enemy has. Like there's no information.
And making it harder, bumping these sliders up doesn't fix any of that.
Right.
Like, at all. It maybe just takes longer. Is really all that does.
Right.
I tried really hard to not auto battle for a while, but without it, the combat was still so straightforward, which again, in a throwback RPG, like I'm okay with at the beginning, but it's like they should have waited to let you do auto battle until like the second world or something, so that it like forces you to get more into the flow of combat.
Yeah.
It is nice that you can like speed it up a lot.
Right.
But even
and I also love this, like when enemies are much weaker than you can just one-shot them and not even go into the battle. And like you don't get as much XP, but you can still get item drops and stuff. And it makes navigating through the world less of a chore. Because like, you're not having to do as many fights. So I do like that. That was in like Metaphor ReFantazio, I think, had something similar to that, where you would like over level and then could one-shot enemies in the field. So I do like that. And again, I don't know if I've ever had a game that I like how it looks so much and hate how it plays. It's just
I aside from one fight toward the end of the game, I auto battled literally every single fight in the game.
Yeah.
I was auto battling bosses. Like,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's too easy.
And then between the combat, really all this game has is visuals, combat, and then a lot of dialogue. So like the visuals are great and they remain great, and then you take the combat out because you don't have to do anything. The game plays itself, and then you have just so much largely unvoiced dialogue.
Right.
And again, Reimagined, why not make some of those cutscenes? Why not make some of that combat? Or
it feels very budget in that way. Because like the battle music is always the same.
Oh, we'll talk on the music here shortly.
But I feel like it all kind of plays into that same conversation of it feels like a missed opportunity. I think like visually it kind of sells you a bill of goods. It's like they clearly did a lot of work visually, and I do know, like, I've heard that they, trimmed a lot of the story content stuff out and all that. And I can't imagine playing the original version of this game. I think it was like widely known as one of the more bloated Dragon Quest games, and so like I was excited to hear that they had maybe trimmed some of that stuff back, but I mean it still overstays its welcome by a lot. I think it has to do with the kind of fatigue that we're talking about with the combat, because like if that could sustain it past those problems, like with the story and like lack of animation stuff, like if the writing was really good, and I don't think the writing's bad, but it's not
I actually
amazing.
don't think the writing's bad. I think
much of the writing is good.
Stories are pretty good. Yeah.
I think the delivery is the problem, and not that the voice acting where it exists is poor, because I think the voice acting is very good, but the delivery is very slow.
Yeah.
And there's lots of pauses. And I found myself mousing through a lot of dialogue, not because I wasn't enjoying the voice acting, but just because it took so long to get through that stuff. And when it's just text on a screen, it's not animated, it's not a cutscene. You're just sitting there listening to people talk.
What's funny is you can also automate the text scrolls. So truly, there is a version of this game where all you're doing is moving. Where you're just moving from
going
place
from point
to
A to point B. Yep. and like equipping new gear when you find it.
Yep. And what's funny about that is that there's I mean, I like this feature, but there is also a like equip the best stuff auto equip the best things for me. Like crazy, dude. Crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah, start recommended equipment. Recommended gear equipped. Like, holy shit. That's wild, dude. I didn't even remember
is the thing. That's
been
in
existed.
RPGs for a while.
Yeah,
and I think that's a cool feature if you don't want to go that deep. But in a game like this, where there is so much hand holding and taking you out of it, that's just another thing.
But
to your point, Cody, like there's very little challenge, if any at all, in the combat, and so all that's really left is the visuals and the story. And while the visuals are very cute and great, there is some good writing in the game. The story overall, I think, is like, again, it's very old school. There isn't a ton of through line in what's happening. There isn't a ton of, at least early momentum
like procedural
in doing what you're doing. It's a lot of small vignette stories that eventually start to come together. In some ways, they don't even.
Right.
You want to show another island, Kyle?
Yeah. Let me. I want to show some of the overworld stuff, because, like, so that island we were just at, so you can sail your ship when like, so obviously you can't fast travel until you've been to a place before, but once you've been there, you don't need to sail there anymore and fight enemies on the way. You can just fast travel wherever. It's like, here's an example of an island from one of the tablets that we did previously. we kind of completed the story that was there, and now like the whole island is still there, and like the towns and stuff are there, people to talk to, but there are no enemies. So you're really just like running through these big empty areas, which just like it just feels like it pads out the time even more. And like you could find some items and stuff, but you're just, there is no threat here, and so it's just really weird feeling.
Is there more story to do here right now though?
No.
Sometimes you do have to go to the present version
right.
of the thing you just did.
Yeah, but sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think back, like the first world that I did, I went back to it in the modern day or whatever, and there weren't enemies, but there were things that, well, I guess there even were a couple enemies still. I have not revisited a place where there was nothing there where I needed to be there. Does that make sense? Because it makes sense to me that there would be no enemies there when there's nothing happening.
Sure.
But why?
Well, and also thematically, based on the story, of course there wouldn't be enemies here. It's just like, I think it's a flaw because like the pacing is all insane because of that. I think.
So I want to touch on the music.
Yeah.
This is where I think is maybe a larger Dragon Quest issue than specifically just this game.
There are like 6 songs.
Yeah. There are some new, I will say there are some new songs that I hadn't heard before for this game, but largely it is reusing music that has been in like every Dragon Quest game since like the first one. And B, the songs are like 45 seconds to a minute long and they just loop over and over and over again. And a lot of places use the same songs.
Yep.
Holy shit. The battle music never changes. Never. Like with a boss or a new area or anything. Never changes. It's the same fucking song. Which that is sometimes the case with RPGs. I get that. But
it like
also you're only hearing it for like 5 seconds since you're just auto battling combat.
You hear the first 5 seconds of the battle music a lot. But this was an issue with a huge issue with Dragon Quest XI. I think that was around the time the composer passed away. And so like people are like, what are they gonna do with the music? And I think they just like didn't make any extra music for the game. And I'm like wondering if they're just like not making new music for these video games anymore because the composer's dead. It's just really weird. And like that again, it goes back to our discussion of like it feels like it was made on a really tight budget. Like all the money and energy and time went into, you know, making sure the story changes made sense and then doing the visual passes. And everything else, like it feels subpar because of it. It's like it's
the hardest thing.
Go ahead,
Shay.
The hardest thing for me to get over is, or to contextualize, is having never played a Dragon Quest game before. I wanted this to be my entry point that like got me excited. Like I own Dragon Quest III Remake. I wanted this to get me excited to like go back and play that, to go check out Dragon Quest XI, which I know, Cody, you really enjoy. And so it's like, this did not have anything that made me, it didn't capture enough of the nostalgia of old school JRPGs for one, and it didn't add enough innovation or modernization for it to feel like it's an actual new game. It feels like I'm playing this weird middle ground of just an old, outdated, mediocre RPG with a fresh coat of paint on it. And that's not me trying to throw shade at Dragon Quest, because there are millions of people that love Dragon Quest, but I would posit, if this is representative of what the Dragon Quest experience was like playing 7 when it came out, that a lot of that is rose tinted glasses, and RPGs are just better now than they were then, which of course they are. So it's hard for me to like reconcile that because I don't know. And again, if there are people out there watching this that saw, hey, Dragon Quest VII content, I'm going to click on it, and you love Dragon Quest, maybe you love this because it illuminates that nostalgia that you have for the series with an adorable visual style, and that's great. As a nostalgia bait throwback, that's fine. What I would say is like it fails both as a modernization of old school stuff because it's lacking a lot of the basic level of enhancements you would expect from a modern RPG. And because of that, it fails as an entry point to Dragon Quest. I do not play this and get excited to try other Dragon Quest games because it's serving neither audience, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I agree.
That's the biggest disappointment that I have. And I know, Cody, you really like Dragon Quest XI. Like, I still would love to check that out. But it's like the idea of going back to older Dragon Quest games is not appealing if this is representative of those games.
Yeah. And like, here's an example of like where there is actually voice acting. I think the voice acting is fine. It's fine to good. There's just like there's not enough of it because there's a lot of dialogue.
Even if the dialogue had just this level of voice acting consistently,
right?
Even that would be better. But just the amount of just silent reading text, listening to the looping music, it makes you feel crazy.
Yeah.
I still go back though, like the delivery. It's like the audio direction because almost every character just speaks pretty slowly.
Yeah.
And that like drags. And a lot of it's because it's static. It's just text. People are just standing there. But even like Maeve is a character that you meet in like the first thing. And she's got this great Irish accent or whatever. Like I loved that character and I loved the voice acting. But I even started skipping her stuff because it was just slow. It was slowly delivered.
I have no idea what I've gotten into here, by the way.
We're just doing more quests, man. It's Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
How many dragons have you seen?
I will say, this is like some of the most engaging stuff I have seen and like interesting things happening for like the last couple hours I had played this game.
I will say, so you're just now getting into it, Shay. I know you haven't gotten there yet. There is a job system in this game that doesn't happen until many hours.
I was wondering about that with the specific jobs that the characters have that they're leveling up. I hit max level on those jobs, and I'm like at like level 10, and I'm like,
can eventually
now
get 2 jobs per character. It's pretty cool. I actually do think that job system is pretty well done and pretty fun.
But that needs to be introduced much earlier.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me I've got another 12 hours of being maxed out at my job before I get to pick another job. Come on. Number go up.
But don't worry, you'll have every job maxed out by the end of the game because the game is that long. So it's not like a hard thing to do. Yeah, I don't know. How much more do we need to say about Dragon Quest VII Reimagined? I feel like we kind of hit on all the big frustrations and confusing disappointment. Stuff we do like.
I hate the idea that like this is such an overwhelmingly negative oriented piece of content because I don't like despise this game.
I think it's at the middle of the road. It has more negatives than positives, but I still think it is the most 5 out of 10 game I think I've ever played.
I agree with you. I guess I'm very disappointed is more what it is. That doesn't speak to the quality of the game necessarily. It's managing expectations or like what I wanted out of it, and it's giving me nothing of what I wanted out of it. It's not nostalgic enough. It's not new enough. It's like it tried to find a balance in there somewhere and it just failed at it.
It's not a totally fair comparison, but like to your point about it not being a good entry level for like getting a new audience, think of like what Final Fantasy VII Remake did. Oh my God, there's people who had never played Final Fantasy period, let alone Final Fantasy VII, and that like came in at that point. Granted, probably very different budgets, obviously very different scope.
Not probably, definitely very different budgets and scopes, but
But I mean, the same thing applies here. Is like, if you do this, are you just making it for the people who really like the original version? Or are you trying to get more people invested? Because this is not the game that's going to get people invested in your franchise. It's just not new people.
There are so many examples of remakes, reimaginings, remasters that split the difference, and a lot of them of more recent games. Like if you look at Resident Evil 4, sorry Kyle, close your ears, or like something like the Dead Space remake, like they add meaningful enhancements to those games, positive or negative, but those are much more recent games that they're enhancing. This is a very old video game. If you're going to add a little bit of enhancements, you need to add a lot of enhancements. Otherwise, it should just be the exact thing that it was, just available on a new console. Just port it. You don't need to reimagine it if you're not actually going to reimagine it.
Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah. And yeah, like you said, like managing expectations, if you're going to call it reimagined, there should be some significant value add.
Yeah. And, you know, again, folks that love Dragon Quest and Dragon Quest VII, drop in the comments like what did they reimagine? What things are wholly new? Because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we wouldn't know having not played the original. But at the end of the day, man, it's just, this isn't what I expected it to be.
Right.
I expected it to feel like an old game with modern sensibilities, and instead it just feels like an old game. And that's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
It is really pretty. Man, I want more games that look like this.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, I wonder how well this game sold. Like, will they do this again? I wonder. I mean, I would have to imagine so, right? Because, like, you spend all the time and money to, like, develop the tools to, you know, make these kinds of updates to one of these games.
Yeah, I mean,
and being how similar all the Dragon Quest games are, I would imagine this is something you could iterate on and
they're
reproduce.
definitely trying to make Dragon Quest a thing again with the 1 and 2 remake, the 3 remake, like, and those games
12.
sold great. So yeah, 12. Yep, totally. So
right.
They're definitely trying to hit a broader audience for sure.
According to Google, in its first week in Japan, it sold 500,000 units, physical units.
That seems solid just in Japan.
And
That is the thing,
physical.
though. Dragon Quest is way more popular in Japan than it is in America.
Yeah. Dragon Warrior.
I guess that tracks. Dragon Warrior. So yeah, that's Dragon Quest VII Reimagined.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked it out and you're kind of in the same boat as us, being Dragon Quest curious or wanting a throwback JRPG, unfortunately, it's hard for me to recommend.
Yeah,
combat's not engaging, the story's not engaging. There's not enough here to tell you that you should go spend your time and money playing it.
Yeah, it's just a really disjointed feeling experience.
Platinum Hunters out there, not worth it.
Oh yeah, there's a really bad trophy. You don't want to try it.
You have to get all of the gear. So there's a total item and gear set, like within the game, and you have to get every item and every like gear piece. And there's maybe like 12 of them that are locked behind a mini game that is 100%. Like it's like level on level on level of RNG, and it's really bad. It's a memorization game. So like, it's like, there's like a 5x4 tile set and you can see them all at the beginning, but then like randomly it's going to swap some. And then it just gets harder and harder and harder, more tiles. And a lot of the weapons or items you need are on the last set. So you have to play it through to the final set. And every time I'm sitting there recording with my phone, watching the tiles move, stop recording, watch the video, move the thing. All right, next round, record with my phone. Stop the thing. And like, I have to do that over and over. And then I get to the final thing and then the item I need isn't there. And so it's like, and then you got to start all over. Yeah, it's really bad.
Gross.
It's really bad. It was driving me insane. So
yeah.
New video series idea, Platinum Trophy Rants with Cody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your platinum chasing. Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Game Select. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. If you enjoy this type of content, if you want to hear more from us, watch more from us, make sure you subscribe to the Party Select channel. We've got tons of stuff, different variety of things. We recently did our first episode of Jeopardy Select, which is our video game Jeopardy series hosted by Cody, where Kyle and I face off with our video game knowledge. Sometimes we do well, sometimes we do not. If you're watching this ahead of Pokemon Day, we will have a lot of Pokemon-oriented content on the channel, so make sure you subscribe, hit the button for that. Anything else, boys? What did I miss?
I mean, if you're interested in hearing about the other games that we've been playing, like maybe that all of us have been playing, but we individually have been playing, we're trying to do like monthly after party streams. where we each kind of bring a thing that we've been hot and heavy on, and kind of show it to each other and whoever else is watching. So you can come check out those.
It's just a casual hangout. Yeah, casual hangout stream. So yeah, I hitting the bell, ringing the bell, dinging the bell, whatever the cool kids say is the best way to do that, so you don't miss any of our times we're streaming. We stream a couple times a month. But yeah,
ringing,
that's
ding,
it.
what the kids say.
Ring a ding ding. I'm not gonna try to. I was gonna try to rhyme, but I'm not gonna rhyme a thing.
I think that's fine.
I am still waiting for a dragon. I'm not gonna lie. I'm waiting for a dragon in my Dragon Quest. I pitched it to my daughter to watch me play, and she was like, "Are there dragons?" I said, "I have not seen any dragons yet," and she said, "No thanks." So, Dragon Quest VII. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you in the next episode of Game Select and the next thing that we upload on the Party Select channel. Peace out.